Making more money feels like the solution to every problem, doesn't it? But what if I told you that staying broke has less to do with how much you earn, and more to do with what you do when the money arrives? Because there's a subtle trap that comes with every promotion, every bonus, every raise. The more you earn, the more your brain finds new ways to spend. And before you realize it, you're not leveling up, you're just trading problems. What keeps most people poor isn't a lack of income. It's the automatic behavior of someone who never learned how to handle their own money. And the worst part? The more you make, the harder it becomes to notice that it's still slipping away through the same drain as before. Today, we're ranking the 10 behaviors that keep you poor, even when you earn more. Those subtle yet powerful habits that turn every salary increase into a bigger bill, a more expensive lifestyle, and a constant feeling of scarcity. So hit that like button and get ready, because maybe the problem isn't your boss, it's your reflection. 10. Upgrading your lifestyle with every raise. This is the first symptom of the income trap. You get a raise, and instead of improving your life, you just increase your expenses. You change cars, move to a nicer neighborhood, subscribe to more services, start hanging out in your new level places. You're not moving up in class, you're just moving up in cost. And what looked like freedom quickly turns into a more comfortable cage. Because in the end, your salary grew, but your margins stayed the same, or even smaller. It's what economists call the elastic income effect. Your brain treats new money as a bonus, not as a responsibility. And when that bonus becomes routine, the raise stops being progress and becomes anesthesia. The secret isn't earning more, it's keeping the same lifestyle long enough to let your money work for you. 9. Spending to prove you're doing well. This behavior is silent and dangerous because it hides behind the mask of self-esteem. You start earning more and want to show that you've made it. New clothes, pricier restaurants, trips that double as showcases. But here's the problem. When success needs to be seen, it's no longer real. Society pushes you into a game where appearance matters more than authenticity, and money becomes a validation tool. You start spending not to live better, but to be recognized. The result is predictable. The more you try to prove you have money, the more you depend on appearances to feel worthy. And the bill doesn't just hit your inbox, it hits your identity. Status isn't freedom, it's an expensive rent paid with your peace of mind. 8. Thinking investing just means putting money into something you start earning more, set a little aside, and believe you're already investing. But in reality, you're just repeating the same consumption behavior, now with a smarter disguise. You buy stocks you don't understand, follow trendy financial fads, copy random TikTok tips. All because your ego loves the feeling of playing the rich people's game. But the rich people's game isn't about where to invest, it's about how to think before investing. Money placed into something you don't understand isn't an investment, it's an emotional bet. And the outcome is always the same. When the market drops, panic rises, and you realize the problem was never the stock market, it was your impatience. Investing without awareness is just spending with delayed guilt. 7. Ignoring expense tracking because you don't need it anymore. Before, you tracked every dollar. But now that you're earning more, it feels like there's always enough. So you relax. You stop logging expenses, reviewing statements, comparing prices. And that's exactly when the chaos begins. Because unmonitored money evaporates. You don't feel the weight of small leaks, but their accumulation quietly kills your progress. A higher income should bring more awareness, not more confidence. But the human brain is lazy. It interprets abundance as permission to turn off the radar. When you lose the habit of tracking your money, you also lose sight of where it goes, and your raise disappears without a trace. 6. Being afraid to say no. This behavior is subtle but destructive. The more you earn, the more you feel pressured to please, to pay, to keep up. That dinner you cover to show gratitude, the expensive gift so you don't look cheap, the friend who always forgets their share. Money triggers guilt in those who don't know how to handle power. You start thinking that saying no is being stingy, when in truth, it's just maturity. And the worst part, society applauds generosity, but never warns that without boundaries, generosity turns into self-sabotage. Knowing how to say no is the clearest sign of financial self-control. Because trying to please everyone with your wallet ends up disappointing yourself with your bills. Saying no isn't rude, it's the language of financial freedom. 5. Confusing comfort with success. You start earning more, and little by little, comfort becomes your measure of progress. A new chair, a bigger screen, an automatic car, air conditioning in every room. It all seems harmless. After all, I worked for this. But comfort is deceptive. It creates a zone of complacency where you feel good enough not to change, but not fulfilled enough to grow. It's the perfect spot for those who want to look stable but are secretly stuck. A comfortable life is an anesthetic disguised as achievement. You stop seeking growth because you're satisfied with what money can buy. And before you know it, success has become nothing more than the ability to sustain your own boredom in style. Final insight: too much comfort is the most elegant disguise for stagnation. 4. Living as if the future were guaranteed. When money starts coming in more easily, you convince yourself that the good phase will last forever. That bonus that feels permanent, the secure job, the steady cash flow that makes you let your guard down. In that quiet state of euphoria, you trade caution for optimism. But money has a cruel talent. It changes direction the moment you stop respecting it. Those who spend as if it will never run out are the first to panic when the cycle turns. And it always turns. The false sense of stability creates the perfect trap. You build a life based on "it's working for now," without realizing you're not building anything solid at all. And when the wind shifts, your financial sandcastle collapses, along with your confidence. Final insight: the future is never guaranteed, but regret always is, for those who live as if it were. 3. Being afraid to look cheap. This is the invisible pact that keeps many people trapped by others' opinions. You know you should save, but you fear being judged. So you buy rounds, accept pricey invites, join trips you never wanted, just to avoid being labeled stingy. The problem is that in this social performance, the very money you're trying to protect is the first to vanish. And the worst part? The people who pressure you to spend are rarely there to help when your balance hits zero. Being frugal is seen as a flaw in a world that glorifies consumption. But true financial maturity is the ability to spend without needing to prove anything. The restraint you resist today is the freedom you'll miss tomorrow. Spending to be accepted is the most expensive way to buy temporary approval. 2. Believing you'll start saving when there's extra. This is the most popular financial self-deception on the planet. You think, once I earn a bit more, then I'll start saving. But when the more finally arrives, the list of desires arrives with it, and somehow it always arrives first. The truth is, money never leftovers. It only changes destinations. If you don't build the habit of managing what you have now, you'll repeat the same pattern no matter how much you earn. It's not a lack of money, it's a lack of direction. The problem isn't how much comes in, it's how much slips away unnoticed. And waiting for a surplus before you start is just the most elegant way of never starting at all. Those who wait to have extra before getting organized only end up organizing their own delay. 1. Thinking that earning more equals getting richer. This is the ultimate mistake, confusing cash flow with wealth. You see money passing through your account and feel like you're thriving, but the truth is, it doesn't stay, it just visits. Earning more doesn't change your financial destiny if your behavior stays the same. Because wealth isn't measured in income, it's measured in time. How long could you live without your next paycheck? If the answer is not long, then no matter how much you make, you're still trapped. A raise is a test of maturity. It shows whether you've learned to manage what you had before. And for many people, the result is the same. The only thing that changes is the size of the mistake. Those who confuse earning with wealth end up with more bills, not more freedom. In the end, staying poor isn't an accident. It's a repeating behavioral pattern that thrives in silence, even as your income rises. Because the real problem isn't just in your bank account. It's in your beliefs, your habits, and the stories you tell yourself to justify what you do with your money. Most people don't actually want to build wealth. They just want to consume what they imagine wealthy people consume. And that's why, even as income grows, the feeling of lack remains. The numbers change, but the mindset stays the same. Impulsive, comparative, and deeply emotional. Earning more is simply an opportunity to reveal who you really are financially. For some, it's the start of building. For others, it's just a chance to dig a deeper hole, with a more expensive shovel. True prosperity begins when money stops being the goal and becomes the tool. When you understand that wealth isn't about what comes in, it's about what stays. And that freedom doesn't come from having more, but from needing less. So if you want to stop looking like you're rising while staying stuck in place, start by changing the one thing a raise never changes: your behavior. Getting rich isn't about earning more, it's about finally stopping the waste of what you already earn.